Another great video from It's a Complicated channel. Should men adapt to the system or change it? Now, we know by now, adaptation means accepting your servitude, accepting being a second-class citizen. Now, this should be 100% a no-go for all these guys. And guess what? They're going to not do that, right? Let's hear it.
You become a man when you become responsible for other people.
A man.
Well, there you go. See that? I'm glad he opened with this. Because he's saying, in other words, being a man is being a servant. This is on the screen, like this television show, Breaking Bad. Everyone saw this. This is what this guy had to say.
Provides for his family.
And part of that is taking accountability.
And he does it even when he's not appreciated.
You see, there you go. See? Walter White, the whole reason that he broke bad is because he wasn't appreciated. He was just a workhorse. Of course, this guy who's saying that to him is just saying, just be my slave, because he doesn't want to be a slave. You think that guy worked his way to the top so he'd be a slave and unappreciated? No.
The man sucks.
Yeah.
Be the man sucks.
Or respected.
Try that.
Or even loved.
Try that.
See, no, respected, appreciated, or loved. But he should just do it because why? Why?
That for a couple of days. Try working those 20-hour shifts.
He simply bears up. And he does it because he's a man. That's my
Wow. You know, the civil rights movement was really wasted on that guy.
job. It's my responsibility. A man is supposed to take care of his family.
It takes a lot to be a man.
Family just means woman, right? He's talking to a young guy. Is that his son? I haven't seen that film or wherever it came from. But men say this to their sons. I mean, so they're telling their boy children, family doesn't mean you. Family means my little girl to a lesser degree and mama, 100%, top dog.
You're a man. Stand up and be a man. Make the hard decisions.
No, dude. You be a little slave boy, not me. I've got too much self-respect for that. See, this is one of these traditional conservative losers. Hat-wearing guy, whoever you are, you're a loser.
Make the sacrifices. Make the unpopular decisions.
Then why are you sitting comfortably in a chair, you slave boy? Go to work.
And become comfortable in your own skin.
Now, how can you be comfortable in your own skin if you're not allowed to feel comfortable?
Modern society is full of corruption. If a social system creates inequality between men and women, should the goal be to adapt to it or change it, and why?
Well, I think if there's any inequality, that we should change it because there should be equality. I mean,
okay, dude, how come you're not an MRA then? Right?
men and women should be seen as equals always.
I think the goal always should be to strive for equality. And then if it's unequal, you should change it to be the most equal you could be.
Yet none of these guys actually do anything, right? They don't spring into action. One thing I got to say about this guy, he has great teeth.
It depends on how you approach it. If you approach it from an idealistic standpoint, you want to change it. You want to fix it. If you approach it from a pragmatic standpoint, you think it is what it is. It is what it's going to be. I don't have the power to change it, so the best I can do.
Really? So the civil rights movement wasn't pragmatic? And if it wasn't pragmatic, how come they succeeded? Great teeth guy. So this guy's making an excuse. He's basically saying, sorry, men being equal to women, I mean, that's just a fairy tale, man. Like, come on.
Is use it to my advantage. It really depends on your frame of mind. It's not to say there's a right way or a wrong way to look at it.
There's no right way or wrong way. The system's unfair, should we change it? Hey, who knows? right?
At it, I tend to be more idealistic, but at the same time,
You're not an idealistic man. That's a bold-faced lie. You're not idealistic or pragmatic. You're just a coward.
it can be hard to be idealistic with the way the world is around us.
If people said that discrimination is inevitable, just become better at navigating it, would most people consider that activism?
I think if you're navigating discrimination, then you're not really addressing it.
Exactly. And that's what you're doing, dude. None of these guys talking. They see what's going around. They're just navigating. Thank you for admitting that.
And I think that what we need to be doing is addressing it.
Well, that's part of what all this toxic, like, talk between the battle of the sexes has been about for a while now.
See, talking about it is toxic, guys. Can't we just keep our heads in the sand? Do go on. Lay down.
You'll have some people who will say, oh, stop being a baby and stop crying about it. But then you'll turn around and say, care about men's health.
I don't think it's activism.
Now, that was actually a good point. Right? You can't do both, man.
I think that would just be more so the norm. You deal with discrimination in everything that you do, one way or the other.
Yeah, okay. Then why did the civil rights movement bother at all then? Why didn't you as a black man grow up under, what was that called, guys? The separate drinking fountains. Why didn't you grow up under that, dude? Do you think the civil rights movement wasted their time? You see these guys, these black guys, they don't want to be told or abused or oppressed by white men, but they love being oppressed by their white women.
Why is telling people to change yourself called empowerment in some movements, but victim blaming in others?
I think it's all in the perspective and the objective of that individual who's asking those questions, ultimately.
Locus. That was a no answer. That was a non-answer. This guy's the worst. He's a bum.
Of control. Some people decide they want to be victims. Other people decide they want to control the world, but you have to decide what you want to be.
See, if the system is bad, it's because you haven't decided to be the best person you are, right? He's talking about a system, and this guy is jumping to individuality, right? He's a slave. He could have just turned around and said, yeah, just adapt to your slavehood. But that would make him look as weak as he is. You're a weakling, dude, whoever you are. And that would make you look weak, so you can't voice it like that, right? So people just want to be victims, right? In other words, men just want to be victims, right? Our second-class citizenry, we deserve it. That's what he's telling us.
To be a victim, or do you want to be in control?
Honestly, I guess that's a question for each individual. I personally think that if you change...
Now, we're talking about the system, and he's talking about individuals. You notice the guys, do you notice the trend?
Change yourself, it's to better yourself, not necessarily to make yourself fit into anything.
Really? So you don't want to fit into anything, into the system, right? But you're going to better yourself. How would you better yourself exactly? You're not allowed to go to university anymore, or the job market, right? Men are being kicked out of those, but you got to better yourself somehow, right?
Just like when it comes to height and weight, men, we would prefer our women to be, a nice shape where they would want us to be a bigger height.
What has this got to do with the system? Dude, what has this got to do with the system?
We can't change our height.
Notice guys always revert to dating. It's always like, never mind my rights. How do I get into the pants of this woman? How do I get, not even that. How do I get this woman to orbit me or allow me to orbit her? That's how it actually is, right?
But when we ask them to change their weight, they always seem to give us just pushback on just them losing weight when we could lose weight together.
We should all be working.
What a beggar.
working to change ourselves. I mean, if we're not changing ourselves, then I don't think we're.
So there you go. So why didn't you just come out and say, now this clown here turned around and said, yeah, there should be equality to the sexes. We should change the system. Now he's saying just adapt to it. Why didn't this clown say that at the beginning? Because these guys want it both ways. They want to lay down, but they don't want to admit to laying down.
Really evolving. So there's nothing disempowering about changing yourself.
Yeah, how does changing yourself change the system? It doesn't. So you're telling everyone to be a slave. You're telling all the men, be a slave.
If adaptation is the answer, under what circumstances would challenging an unjust system ever be justified?
But isn't that how the system came about? By challenging what's norm.
The justification.
There you go. But these guys aren't for that. This guy will even admit it. Stay tuned, right? Okay, great teeth guy.
Comes when it takes more energy to adapt than it does to change. That's the thing. A lot of times we as humans, it's not.
Actually, that makes a bit of sense there, what he just said. Because I see that there are a younger crowd watching my videos now. Guys will cut off their ears to get with women. But eventually the price becomes too high. Okay. Because I do see a bit of that.
Not necessarily that we approach the path of least resistance. We approach what is practical. So if there's less energy involved in adapting, that is more practical than changing. Once the scale flips and there's less energy needed.
Even though this is all true, none of these guys use this kind of talk for the civil rights movement. Right? Any movement where they're trying to become equal to another group of men, whether it's fighting another country or fighting racist, they don't have talks like this. They just say, yes, let's do it, right?
To change it, when people are willing to spend the energy, like it would take more energy to adapt, that's when people will feel the need that it is practical to change it.
I think that humans are very adaptive, and that's a good quality of being a human being. But
well, not if you're adapting to something you don't have to. There's no reason for us to adapt to slavery. None whatsoever. You're a conscious human being. You don't have to accept this at all.
At the same time, we should always be co-creating a system that works more for everyone.
Oh, see, like these guys, they can't help but contradict themselves. You know, adaption's really great, but we should be working together to change the system. You can't have it both ways, dude. Choose a lane and be honest. You're honest about adapting to being a little slave boy. You're just too shamefaced to admit it. These weaklings are really getting on my nerves.
Why is it whenever women complain, reforms are made, but whenever men complain, they're told to improve?
I believe because we live in a society where men rule almost everything, and
okay, that's so lame. So men rule everything, but we're in inequality, right? Dude, like what you just said is contradictory. So we rule everything, but we're second-class citizens, right?
Women are just now getting the rights and the feelings that they deserve to be.
The feelings that they deserve? What do you mean the feelings that they deserve? Right. So this guy he's just outright saying, yeah, men don't deserve rights. Right.
Acknowledged and to be heightened, I guess you could say.
That's just how society is ultimately. The man is supposed to bear all of the hard things of this world, while the women should be coddled and ultimately taken care of. So
that's the way the society is. Okay, so why don't you change it? Right? Why don't you change it? I'm telling you now, if there's a bunch of white nationalists holding the system, this guy would be in the streets protesting. right? It's those white women he loves being told what to do.
Goes back into, ultimately like your your God-given roles, if you will, or the rules of nature, if you will.
See, it's all just natural, man. My slavery is just natural, right? Just accept it. I never do it in any other case, but in this case, yeah, I mean, it's just natural, right?
Why isn't the solution to women's problems to just become better like it is for men?
Ultimately, that would solve the problem, but here we don't solve problems; we just pacify problems.
Well, you're a great example of it, dude. It's just nature.
They're going to avoid that at all costs. I mean, they've been dodging accountability.
Also, that was a non-answer he gave too, right? So women making themselves better would change the system. In other words, he's admitting that women control the system, right? He's admitting that women are the class enemy of men.
Like Neo with bullets.
All complaints, whether they're coming from men or women, should be addressed equally. And so,
Dude, you just admit that men should adapt to our slavery. I mean, shut the hell up.
yeah, we should all be told to improve, and at the same time,
Well, you might make a better system, but we all should improve. Man, I'm only halfway in. I'm glad this is a short video, but it seems like forever.
Should have our complaints taken seriously.
Men have a hard time agreeing with other men, I think, and women have it easy, like agreeing with other women. So if there's a big complaint within women, women usually are like, yeah, that's actually true. We want that to change. And men usually they don't have that really close knit community where they agree with each other, I think.
Yeah, wow, this guy is the only one that hit the nail on the head. Right.
Why do you think that is?
I think that is because there's like a big hierarchy with men where there's like, I'll try to be better than you, richer than you, more strong than you.
Yes.
And if you're not like on my level, I'll try to push you down and say like your concerns are not as worthy.
There you go. Hey, whoa, this guy got it. I can't believe it. Sorry, dude. I didn't mean to freeze your face like this, but damn.
Why is it that men will reluctantly accept their fate anytime an injustice is pointed out? It is what it is, or that's just part of being a man?
Both. It is what it is, and it's being part of and it's part of being a man. Society doesn't care whether you're.
Yeah, change the society then, dude. You're a part of society. This is your society in this case. You laid down, and you like laying down.
Whether you're big, strong, small, or whatever the case, you're a female, you get taken care of. If you're a male, you got to deal with it.
It's the curse
No, you don't. Not if you change it.
of being a man. You know, it's the burden of being a man that we have the burden of carrying everything on our backs. And I feel it's always going to be our job to provide and to.
What slave talk, right? Can you imagine the guys at the plantation get whipped and say, yeah, this is our burden, man. You know, this is what we have to do. Let's not change anything. How come so many slaves tried to run away, though, dude? Why did they try to run away and change their lives for a better way? You know, you think they would all just accept?
Necessarily do what the right thing is. And I think men are, not to be sexist, but I think that men are a little bit more level-headed than women and make more conscious decisions.
Well, they're not level-headed when it comes to this decision, dude. Okay, well, back to Clown Santa Claus.
No, I think that being a man is about not just like owning, not just being tough.
This is gibberish at this point in the game. Just admit you're happy to be a little slave boy. You already did. Just go all the way.
But also like being sensitive and being
oh my god, this
flexible
gibberish.
and willing
this is gibberish.
To grow.
So which of the following is worse? Women having a victim mindset or men having a slave mindset?
One's not worse than the other.
I think they're both equally kind of a negative mindset. I think that we should all be the owners of our own reality, and so being
See, hey, the system is above me, but I own the reality. This guy.
a victim or a slave is basically being the same thing.
Not really, dude. Because the women's victimhood puts them on top. A man's slave mind puts him at the bottom. So of course these guys are going to try and equal things out, right? You know, women aren't above us. We're both suffering equally, right?
There's no comparison on that. They both have pros and cons in whatever situation that
You know, women rule above men, and they live extremely privileged lives, and men suffer. But you know, we're all the same, dude. We're all the same. Take a good look at this guy, everyone. This is why, again, we reject the masculinity label. This guy is a perfect example of a masculine man. Muscular, looks fairly tall, square jaw, you know, big jaws, small eyes. This is a masculine man. Masculine men are just as big laydowns as the feminine ones.
applies, but ultimately it is what it is, boss. One's not worse or one's not better than the other.
See, hey, they're not better, right? Like women's privileges and men's slavery, you know, neither one is worse or better, right?
They both suck.
I would say both.
Yeah, it really sucks to be the female nobility, you know, in their easy lives. All right, great teeth guy, what do you have to say?
Are equally destructive to each because, again,
they're equally destructive, dude, right? Like women are suffering from their privilege.
When you confine yourself to that mindset, you are only holding yourself.
See, it's a system, but it's a mindset, right? So there's a system, but hey, it's all in your head, dude. You're creating the system with your mind. If you just self-improve, the system will go away.
Back. If women see themselves only as victims, they are unable to move past that. If men see themselves...
Why would they need to? Their victimhood gets them stuff. Their victimhood is used to keep men down, exactly what they want. So why would they give that up? See, these guys, they're such beggars. They're going to women and say, don't you understand, ladies? Your extreme privileged and easy lives, they're bad for you. Right? Give that up. Give that up because I'm asking you to. You know, it's like, geez.
As slaves, because it is their duty to provide, their duty to give of themselves for the betterment of those around them.
Well, I'm backing that up. Did he actually use the word slave?
Past that, if men see themselves as slaves, because it is their duty to provide, their duty to give of themselves for the betterment of those around them, it unfortunately limits them. So I would say both are destructive. It's a complicated issue.
No. Both of them are destructive to men. They're destructive to men. They're not destructive to women. Women are living a great life off it, dude. What a pathetic beggar.
Harriet Tubman once said, I freed 1,000 slaves. I could have freed 1,000 more if only they knew they were slaves. How does this apply to modern men?
Oh my God. Fantastic question. Let's see this weasel get out of this one.
Wow. I actually like that question a lot. You know,
I actually like that question a lot, but I can't answer it.
because the thing is, a lot of men, because we're traditionally the ones that are in control, we are the ones that make the rules.
No, don't do, dude. He's doing that again, just like that other one. That other wimpy guy with the clown makeup. How can we be in control yet go out of our way to make things worse for ourselves. You lying sack. This guy isn't just being foolish now. He's a liar. You're a liar, great teeth guy.
The patriarchy, as you hear, because that is usually where we're at.
See what happens, guys? If it's not just natural, right? And we just have to obey our natures. It's like, hey, we're in charge, man. There's this magical patriarchy that's keeping me down as a man, right? But I can't fight the patriarchy, can I? Right? Because that'd be fighting against women. Women are the patriarchy.
We've been brought up in that mindset. We are confined to that mindset. So it could
Well, you're propagating it, dude. You're propagating it.
be said, yeah, we don't realize that we're slaves in that situation because, you know, again, it all comes down to us. There's a lot of pressure on men, whether some people want to deny it or not. Because, you know, I got to do my job. I got to make money. I got to provide for those around me, even though I'm still single. You know, I have.
You've got to provide for those around you, even when you're still single. The ultimate expression of slavery. As a single man, you have freedom, and you don't even believe you deserve that freedom.
To be stable. I have to be, again, the rock where everything fails. I must not fail.
You have to get better. You have to man up and just, do things differently. There's more like.
You've got to man up and do things differently? So you got to do the same as you've always done, but you got to do things differently. Also, that guy said that it's very complicated. There's nothing complicated with this issue. It's very simple. It's black and white. Women are oppressing men. They're in charge of the system. If men want to change the system, they got to fight women. That's how simple it is. These guys don't want to admit that. They don't want to come out and say, look, I just don't want to fight my oppressors. I love my oppressors, and therefore I don't want to fight them. It would come off as weak and pathetic as it actually is. Right?
Adaptation that you need to do, and I think that's just a part of life. You literally can't change all these viewpoints. You just gotta, as part of a man, you just gotta.
See, I'm just an N-word, and I just have to accept it, right?
Bro, you just gotta do it. You just gotta thug it out, so.
Thug it out. You're a man. You got to deal with it. It's part.
Did he say thug it out? So you just got to be a little bitch slave, right? Okay. So again, notice all the back and forth. These guys are admitting it on one hand and then trying to deny it on the other. Right.
It's part of your job as a man. So
that's why I don't bother being a man now. Right? I just call myself male. Right? Why would I take it's a job, right? But a job pays, dude. This is what you're leaving out. A job gives you a paycheck. And this job is done for free, and you don't get any appreciation or love or anything. So that's not a job, is it?
If more.
Yeah, just give it up, you loser.
Men were able to say, like, hey, these things are issues. And,
we are saying it. I'm saying it. All you're saying is you aren't willing to say it. And this is a self-improvement, right, guys? Like this guy here could self-improve and change his shitty attitude, but he doesn't want to. So you're even against self-improvement, dude.
Bring it across in a way where it's like it's not complaining. This is how it is. This is the proof. This is what.
See, we can't address our issues because that would be complaining, right? I guess just like the civil rights movement, they're all just a bunch of complainers.
Why?
All we're doing is repeating this cycle of where we're getting put down for trying to change what we want to change. But
yeah, but you're not trying to change it, dude. And that's why it's a cycle. It's a cycle because you aren't doing shit.
Then when we want to be uplifted, we're shot down by the same society that wants us to shut up and just don't cry about it.
If we were able to talk about it and identify those issues and better.
Dude, I've identified it easily. You can't. You can't identify it because you want to be in the system. You approve of the system. You hate the system, but you love the system. You're like Golem. He hates the ring, but he loves the ring.
Explain them, oh yeah, we would be able to, for lack of better words, help men to think outside the boxes that they confine themselves into, whether.
Well, we got to think outside the boxes. But, men have to do this. It's just our God-given right? It's just our nature, right? But again, think out of the box, outside the box, but, conform, right?
Willingly or otherwise.
If men knew how much they were slaves and how much they get treated badly, instead of them.
Don't say they, say we. You're a man.
Thinking of it as a duty or an obligation, or thinking that this is just the way life is, they would actually, probably accomplish more and get a lot more done and probably make a even better world.
See, he's saying he's trying to obscure the fact that he's one of them, one of us, right? All I get to say is, hair braided guy, why don't you just do something then? Join the MRM or form one that actually works,
A lot of the interactions between men and women today, it is a vicious, self-propagating cycle where we're all offenders and we're all victims at the
same time. No, dude. No. Women are the offenders. We men are the victims. Don't try this horseshit with me. This garbage where we're both suffering. Hey, the KKK and us black guys, we're all suffering together, right? When they burn crosses on the lawn, that's all just natural. That's the system. Who can fight the system, right?
Same time. And unfortunately, I couldn't tell you sitting on Las Vegas Boulevard, I couldn't tell you how to fix it.
Yes, you could. You could actually fight for your rights, you weakling. You're just not willing to admit that you don't want to.
Just one guy. And that's another thing. We're just one guy. Who am I to change it?
Well, get together with a group of men then, dude. Because that's how things are done. What a bunch of weaklings. What a bunch of weaklings. These guys disgust me. Anyway, thanks again. It's complicated. You've done a great job. You really expose these disgusting, slave-minded subhumans. I have nothing but contempt for these guys. Anyway, we'll end it here.